What's going on, everybody? For USA Muay Thai, my name is Nate Freeman. I'm joined today by the 2023 USA Elite 91 kilo representative, Adam Reynolds. Adam, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Glad for you to be here. Glad to speak with you. Um, we'll jump right into the USA National Championships. You didn't compete in the USA National Championships. You um, ended up being one of three athletes with an opponentless bracket. But I'd love to hear about your experience being at the national championships. You still had to cut weight and make weight. So, yeah, we'd love to hear about your experience.
Yeah, it was really cool. I actually went out with a teammate of mine, Jules Rouse, competed in the under 23 81 kgs. So we went out there as a team. Head coach Sonny Ross, his wife Trisha, then Jules. A lot of guys from the area, Chicago area too. So kind of knew some of those guys. It was just cool to meet some of the other fighters from other parts of the country and just, check out some really elite level Muay Thai.
And obviously, you wish you were competing yourself, but is there anything that you learned from your experience that you can take back with you to Chicago to your training for the IFMA Worlds?
It was nice while we were over there, head over to Easton, do some training over at Easton, train with some of the guys there, and just being able to train with Jabril Alim. He's been a training partner out here in Chicago. I've trained with him a handful of times and got to work with him again while we were out there on the pads and do some clinch rounds with him. So anytime I can work with him, he always seems to help me level up.
Absolutely, yeah. He's great. I spoke with him, and yeah, he's ready to go. Let's talk about you competing in the IFMA Worlds coming up in Thailand here in May next month. I'd love to hear. You are, to my knowledge, still very new to Muay Thai itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does it mean to you to already be representing USA Muay Thai so early into your career?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's pretty special, and I'm honored to, head over there to compete in the tournament, and especially to represent the USA. Um, but yeah, like you said, I'm still very much new to the sport. 2 years ago, I hadn't won a fight yet, so I've I kind of just immersed myself in the sport. Once I started doing it, just really went all in. Training 6 days a week for the past 2.5 years since I started doing this, and along with the strength and conditioning, things like that. Um, so I've really been, I put in a lot of work. I know it's been a short amount of time, but I do feel like this is something, I've earned, and I'm looking forward to kind of showcasing my skills and kind of prove that I belong at the in there with the best guys.
I'd love to hear about your last year in particular. You had 8 or 9 fights and went 8-1, 7-1, something like that. So you sort of really established yourself as an elite Muay Thai athlete. You won the Freedom Belt, which is one of the most prestigious belts here in America with Rami Ibrahim. So talk to me about all of the progress that you've made in the last year and how it's gotten you to this point.
Yeah, so within the last year, about a little over a year ago, I had my first title fight with the local promotion, TFC, Total Fight Challenge, out of Chicago. After that, I went out and fought on the Warriors Cup, and that was my only loss last year. Lost to a very good fighter. I think he's their two-time champ now. So after that, just kept busy. Competed in the TBAs in June, won the TBAs. Fought for the WMO title in August, won that. And then a couple fights on Prime Fight Promotions, one in September, and then most recently a title fight in February against another good fighter, both wins. And then, like you mentioned, in December, I was able to fight for Freedom with Rami, and that was a great experience. Had it pretty close to a hometown here in Hammond, Indiana, and was able to win that belt as well.
Yeah, so a lot's happened over the past year. So I think I've discussed this with everybody who I've spoken with. Anyone who's anyone in Muay Thai has to make at least one trip to Thailand. Since you're so new in the game, I assume that this is your first time going to Thailand for
Yep.
Muay Thai, at least.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Talk to me about maybe some things that you're excited about. Not just the competition. Obviously, the competition's the main reason why you're there. But is there any other things that you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm excited just to kind of, soak it in. It's pretty special that, with this year being the 30th anniversary for IFMA, being able to have it in Bangkok. I know last year was, Alabama, and it's still, obviously, to compete at this level is still an honor and special, but I think it's a little extra special just being in Bangkok this year. So, I look forward to just kind of seeing the culture, checking out, different gyms, stuff like that, if we're able to while we're out there, while we're training, and just really dive into to Muay Thai in the motherland.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds great. So let's take a few steps back. We've been talking a lot about how you've been just training Muay Thai for a couple years at this point, but I'd love to hear about how you found Muay Thai and how you got started in competing. I know that you played college basketball for a really good college, and then you ended up playing professional overseas. So talk to me about how you got from that point playing basketball to competing in Muay Thai.
Yeah, so in between basketball and me starting Muay Thai was probably about 2.5, 3 years. And just growing up, all my life I had been an athlete, whether that was baseball, basketball, football, just always grew up playing sports. Loved to compete. That was always my thing. So when basketball ended, I was kind of almost lost in a lot of ways. I was still coaching hoops, but it wasn't the same. Didn't really know what to do with myself. So I actually, my plan was to just do a martial art, any martial arts, mixed martial arts, boxing, whatever. I had heard of Muay Thai just from watching, the UFC and stuff like that, but I didn't really know what it was. And so this was right around when gyms started opening them up after the COVID lockdowns. So the first gym I actually went to was a boxing gym, and was planning on joining that, just to find something to do, something to compete in. Like I said, just kind of felt lost without, having a sport or something to push me. And the day I went to that gym, it was closed. So I was like, all right, no big deal. The next day I was at work and I just searched, martial arts gyms near me. And I happened to find Prime Muay Thai about a mile away. And I was like, yeah, check it out. Went in one day. And honestly, the rest is history. Just fell in love with it right away. I mentioned him earlier, but Coach Sonny Ross has been great. Him and Trisha both have been great to me. I remember asking Sonny, like, after a week of training, like, all right, so when can I fight? And he's like, that's it. He said, what, fighting's the easy part. Anybody can go up, get in a ring. Show me that you can show up every day, that you can be dedicated. You can be here 5 days a week, 6 days a week. You put in your road work, you put in your lifting, stuff like that. And I said, all right. So I did. I wanted to prove it to him. And then about 6 months after I started training, I had my first fight.
And like you said, as they say, the rest is history. What are some things that you learn, or what are some things that maybe came to you quicker because of your basketball background? Are there any things, whether that's in competition, dealing with just being able to know what competition's like?
Yeah,
Or
actually, really good question. The competition side of things has been huge. Because like you said, I played for a pretty good college basketball team. We had a lot of success. So, playing in front of a couple thousand people wasn't. I mean, it was normal for us. So, just having that background of competing at a high level with lots of people watching, the pressure of that has definitely helped as I transition into this. Obviously, when you're standing out there in just shorts a little longer than your underwear and you got the chance of getting knocked out, it's a little bit more pressure than basketball and you're out there alone. But that's definitely helped. And from an athletic side of things, or within the sport itself, I think basketball in particular has really helped, with my footwork. I think I had some pretty natural footwork when I started doing this, due to my background playing hoops and just playing sports growing up. But
yeah, that makes sense. A lot of lateral movement with defense and things like that, being able to move your feet, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let us go ahead and break into some rapid fire questions, just so maybe fans can get to know you a little bit better, both inside and outside of the ring. What is your favorite striking technique?
probably right uppercut.
Yeah, I like that. Your favorite either book or movie?
Hmm. My gosh, sorry, these are supposed to be rapid fire.
I've
Um, I like the movie The Prestige. That's one of my favorites.
heard a lot about that, but I've not seen it. I've been meaning to
Yeah,
see that
Christopher
one.
Nolan is he's the guy who did all the Batmans, so a lot of his movies are really good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, when you are, whether it's done cutting weight and you eat in between the weigh-in and the competition, or if it's after competition, what is your go-to meal? Is there anything in particular that you're really craving after making weight or after competing?
So my go-to meal is probably chicken and rice after a weigh-in, or just in general. Just I eat a lot of chicken and rice. But after a competition, after a fight, I always like to get a pizza the next day. Order some pizza and just dig in.
That seems to be a very common answer on this team.
Oh yeah.
Um, is there any particular kind of pizza that you like?
I, I don't really discriminate when it comes to pizza, but being a Chicago guy, I got a special love for deep dish for sure.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so I asked someone else this based off of another athlete's response. They said that their favorite, Megan Washam, said that her favorite post competition meal is pizza, but it's pizza without the cheese. So it's just
Hmm.
bread and sauce. Um, you said you don't discriminate, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
To each their own. Um, I guess it's wouldn't be quite as good, I don't think, but yeah, to each their own, I guess.
There you go. Um, okay, so what advice would you have for um, Adam, who is just walking into the Muay Thai gym at Prime Muay Thai for the first time, looking back now from where you are now?
I would say, I think I would tell, Adam 2.5, whatever years ago, to be humble. I think I went in there kind of, obviously I didn't know anything about Muay Thai. So when I was listening to coach and listening to, the other fighters and instructors, it was all new to me. So I definitely was willing to learn. But I think in some ways I kind of had maybe a big head, um, just due to past athletic success, or for whatever reason. I think maybe there was in some ways where I was a little bit, I thought I knew better than I did. And I think it came to you know, so for an example, I lost my first fight by knockout, and coach would always tell me, you're dropping your hands, and I'd be like, I don't know, I don't think I am, I don't really, and then I was dropping my hands, and like coach said, he's like, oh, I guess you like to learn the hard way, and I think that has always been something I've struggled with, maybe, is having to learn things the hard way. So I think I would just probably go back and tell myself to be humble, um, and listen, and really just absorb everything.
Yeah, that's perfect. Your favorite Muay Thai athlete, and then if your favorite athlete overall isn't a Muay Thai athlete, which it probably is a basketball athlete if I had to guess, but your favorite overall athlete as well.
So I like watching the bigger guys, and I know there's not a lot of them, in Muay Thai, but Lyndon Knowles out of the UK, I've watched a lot of his fights. So I'd say he's one of my favorite fighters, and he's got the little bit of style with the pink hat and everything he's got going on. Um, Obviously, guys like Rod Tang are always fun to watch just because of how entertaining they are. Dropping the hands and just eating shots, um, crazy stuff like that. Liam Harrison was one of the first guys I started watching too. I just like, almost everything he throws is super violent. Just, I like his style. Favorite athlete? Yeah, I was I don't watch as much sports as I used to. I got kids now, so kind of makes me a little busy between training and work and kids. But when I was still watching a lot of hoops, my favorite player was Nikola Jokic, and I know he's obviously still having a lot of success. He's, I think, back-to-back MVPs, so he's one of my favorite athletes as well.
That makes sense. I feel like I'd be remiss to ask a basketball person where they fall on the MJ versus LeBron debate. Where do
Oh,
you
it's
fall?
MJ all day. Chicago Bulls got the blanket hanging up right now in the kids' room, but it's a little messy, so I won't show you. But yeah, I grew up a Bulls fan. My dad was a huge Bulls fan in the '90s, so yeah, it's MJ all day.
So, sounded like your dad grew up more with watching him than you did. Do you have any
Yeah,
memories yourself of watching him at all?
unfortunately, just with the Wizards. I remember like the first years I can remember really watching like hoops was like 2001 ish, because I remember Kobe and Shaq facing the Sixers AI in the finals, and that was like the first time I can really remember watching. So post Jordan's Bulls years, but right into his Wizards years.
Yeah. Okay. Um, you mentioned your family. I think among the people that I have interviewed, I think you're the only parent that is going over to Thailand. Um, is this your first time leaving your children for an extended period of time?
Yes. I mean, a few days here and there, like when I went to Denver, that was, 3, 4 days. And there's been some other, instances, even if I got to work or something, my wife might take them to the lake for a few days at a time, but never anything quite this long. A couple weeks. This will be the first time.
How are you preparing for that? That seems like um, sort of a big occasion.
Yeah, it's I'm lucky because I know my wife's she's a star. She's a A+ mom. I know she's gonna be able to handle it, and we're both fortunate. We got both sides of grandparents in town. My sister helps out a lot. My wife's family, her siblings help out a lot. So yeah, we've already kind of put together some plans where people are gonna, help watch the kids and come by the house. So I'm really lucky. I won't have to I'm gonna miss them, but it's gonna be I'll be able to put it in the back of my mind and focus on competition when it comes time.
It's great to know that you have such great support back home.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we'll jump into this final sort of section here, just to wrap up. A, how can people follow you on social media? B, I know that the trip over to Thailand, all the athletes are raising funds to get over there. I believe you have a shirt that you just came out for part of the fundraiser. And then C, I'll give you the floor to give any shout outs to coaches, sponsors, anything like that.
Yeah. So I'm Adam Reynolds.mt Muay Thai on Instagram. That's the only social media I really use. I think I have a Facebook. I never check, but Adam Reynolds.mt on Instagram. We did sell a bunch of shirts, which was great in helping fundraise. Some of our sponsors, Prime Muay Thai from the gym. We had P. Ross Consulting, Valor Fitness, which is actually my employer as well. We had Alvarado Investments, McLaren Chicago. These guys all pitched in, helped, make this trip possible for me. And then I just want to give a shout out to obviously my coach, Sonny. Not just has he, helped me grow in this sport, but he's actually been named a assistant coach for Team USA heading into this tournament. So he'll be coming out there with me with his wife Trisha as well. So that'll be super, super cool for me just to have that familiarity with a coach already. Obviously, my own coach who's cornered me in almost all of my fights. So that'll be great. And then, I just want to shout out to my wife, Jenna, for holding down the fort while I'm gone, and the rest of my family for picking up the slack without me and helping out as well.
Awesome. This has been Adam Reynolds. You can catch Adam competing in the IFMA Worlds in the 91 kilo category in Thailand in May. Adam, thank you so much for your time and best of luck at the IFMA Worlds.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you.